In this video, I'm going to show you how to take your audio podcast, make little video snippets in Square format, and schedule them to go out to your Facebook pages and or your Facebook groups for every day of the week. First thing we need to do is go to the connections page and make sure we have an audio podcast connected. If you've been following the video series, you already have one connected. If you're doing this for the first time, you can connect your podcast feeds by choosing this and choosing add connection. I already have it, so I'm not going to add it again. Now, the second thing you want to do is add your Facebook. So we choose Facebook from the list and click add connection. Give it a name, Annie's Facebook. And very important here, what you're doing is connecting your main Facebook account. This is not a page, not a group. You're just choosing your personal Facebook account. And in the later steps, you're going to choose whether you want to publish to a page or to a group or to both. So I'll show you how to do that. But a very important point here, you're not connecting a page, you're not connecting a group. At this stage, you're connecting your own personal Facebook account. So click connect, it's going to pop up, ask me to authenticate, say okay, and done. Next, I'm going to go to the workflows and make my workflow. So I'm going to click create workflow, give it a name, podcast to Facebook page. It's going to be Square, similar to Twitter, and it's going to be snippets. I'm going to say next, choose my input as my podcast, convert audio to video, that's right, and change from full episode to snippets. The last thing is, where do you want to send this videos to? I'm going to choose Facebook. And I'm going to choose Facebook page. And as long as I'm an admin, I should see all the pages that I'm an admin for. So I'm going to just select my test page, for example. I hit create workflow. I can click on view episodes and I should see all my episodes and I should see all my snippets. So if you've been watching the videos before, again, I've mentioned this over and over again, these clips are automatically created from the content that we published on our podcast host. So when I uploaded my episode, I put in these timestamps and these titles, and Repurpose automatically picked them up and made my snippets for me. So I'm going to go into the settings and show you really quick. I'm not going to go into as much detail. If you need more detail, you can review the previous videos. We went into more details on those. But the things I wanted you to make sure you have enabled. One is a progress bar. Anytime we're doing a snippets or a clip, it's nice to have a progress bar built into the waveform that we do. So it gives it a nice effect, but also tells people that this video is not very long. So they'll be more likely to stick around and watch the entire clip. Then for Facebook, we recommend going for a Square template. You can preview the template, see what it looks like. You got some text across the top. You have a waveform. You have an image which we pull from your podcast artwork or your episode specific artwork. And you have a subheadline text that goes below the image. So I'm going to choose this example. You can upload your own, of course. You can download our template guide here and it will walk you through the process. Default subheadline is that text that appears below the image. You can put in text here, maybe like a call to action, so that people can listen to the full episode or they can subscribe to you on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. You put some kind of text in here so that you don't have to type it in for every video. It'll appear on the bottom of every video for you. Intro and outro, only thing I'm going to say is, because we're doing clips, I don't recommend you do an intro. If you want to do an outro, it has to be a video file and it has to be Square. So basically it has to match the final product that we're producing. And then we'll add it on to the end of your video that we create for you. A nice call to action at the end or an outro can be something like, subscribe to our show on Apple Podcasts. It could be you talking, or it could be a picture of your artwork, something you would have to design on your own using your video editor. And last but not least, I like to change the default snippet time to 120, which is 2 minutes. I'm going to click save. And now it automatically adjusted all my timestamps so they're all 2 minutes long. If I want to be more precise and exactly pick the end time or adjust the start time slightly, I can click edit. If I want to create a new clip, I can click the scissor icon and do that from there. And once I'm ready, the strategy here is very similar to Twitter. I want to click post to Facebook. And the only thing I want to mention here is because we're doing clips, by default, we grab the description. We grab the entire description from your show notes or from your podcast host. And it doesn't make sense to have this full description. So I would recommend to delete it and just keep one line to match the title. You can also add more text, but my point being, you don't want to keep the full description from your podcast host, because that description describes the entire episode. You want to describe what this specific clip is all about. And then instead of publishing now, you want to hit set schedule, set a time and date, and schedule it. Now, the idea here is we have 5 clips. You can schedule one for every day of the week. So that way you have 5 pieces of content going out to your Facebook page every day automatically. So I hit schedule, and then I would do the same thing for this one, same thing for this one, same thing for this one, same thing for that one. It goes into preparing. So it's making the video for you. And after a few minutes, it's done. You can hover over and see the schedule date. So it hasn't published yet. It's just scheduled right now. And if you want to preview what it looks like, you can click the eye icon. It will open up the video in a new window and you can see exactly what it looks like. And one last thing I want to show you is you can do and repeat the same process again. This time we're going to go from a podcast to a Facebook group. So if I'm going to choose the same thing, audio podcast. I'm also going to do the snippets. And this time I'm going to send it to Facebook group. And I'm going to see all my groups here. Now, one thing to note about groups, you need to make sure that you allow the Repurpose app to access your groups. And to do that, you need to go to Facebook, click on your Facebook group, click on more, edit group settings. And here where it says apps, you want to click add apps and choose repurpose.io.